The stars were bright over the small town of Riverside when the ships first appeared. It was a normal Tuesday evening. Parents were making dinner. Kids were playing outside. Teachers were grading papers. No one knew that everything was about to change. Susan Miller stood on her back porch watching her 8-year-old son Alan play soccer in the yard. The evening news played in the background, talking about the new space station and how humans had finally made contact with alien life. 3 months ago, most people were excited about it. Susan wasn't so sure. "Mom, look!" Alan pointed up at the sky. Susan looked up and saw it, a massive dark shape sliding across the stars, blocking them out one by one. It was bigger than anything humans had ever built. Much bigger. "Go inside, Alan," she said, her voice steady, even though her heart was racing. "But Mom..." "Now, Alan." More shapes appeared in the sky, dozens of them. Then hundreds of smaller craft began to drop from the large ships. They looked like teardrops made of dark metal, and they were heading toward the ground. Susan grabbed Alan's hand and ran inside, locking the door behind them. She turned on the TV. Every channel showed the same thing: strange ships appearing over cities all around the world. "What's happening?" Alan asked. Susan didn't know what to say. She was an Air Force officer on leave, but nothing in her training had prepared her for this. She pulled out her phone and called her commanding officer, Colonel Frank Peters. "Miller, are you seeing this?" he answered immediately. "Yes, sir. What are our orders?" "Report to base immediately. We're mobilizing everyone." Susan looked at Alan. "Sir, I have my son. My ex is overseas." There was a pause. "Bring him. We're setting up family centers on base. This is global, Miller. Every military in the world is on high alert." Susan packed quickly, throwing clothes and food into a bag while Alan watched the TV with wide eyes. The news showed the tear-shaped craft landing in parks, near schools, and neighborhoods. They got into her car and started driving toward the base 30 miles away. Other cars filled the roads. People were panicking. Susan turned on the radio. "Reports coming in that the alien craft are taking children. I repeat, the aliens appear to be specifically targeting children. If you have children, authorities are advising you to..." Susan's blood went cold. She looked at Alan in the rearview mirror. His face was pale. "Mom, are they here for kids? Are they here for me?" "No one is taking you anywhere," Susan said firmly, pressing harder on the gas pedal. They were 5 miles from the base when they hit total gridlock. Cars weren't moving at all. In the distance, Susan could see one of the tear-shaped craft hovering over the road ahead. "We have to go on foot," she said, grabbing their bag in Alan's hand. They left the car and started walking through the stopped traffic. Other people were doing the same thing, carrying children, holding hands, running. There was fear everywhere. The alien craft moved closer, floating above the cars. It made no sound. A blue light started scanning the crowd below. Whenever it passed over a child, the light turned green. "Run," someone shouted, and suddenly everyone was running. Susan picked up Alan and sprinted between cars, heading for the trees beside the highway. The blue-green light swept over them. She felt Alan being pulled upward out of her arms. "Mom!" he screamed, floating up toward the craft. Susan jumped and grabbed his leg, but something invisible pushed her back. She fell hard on the ground, watching helplessly as her son rose higher. "Alan!" she screamed, getting up and running after the light that was taking him. All around her, other children were rising toward the craft. Parents were screaming, jumping, trying to grab them. Some people were shooting at the craft, but the bullets just bounced off. Susan ran until she couldn't run anymore, until the craft was just a dot in the sky, until her son was gone. 3 days later, Susan sat in a military briefing room with hundreds of other officers. Many had also lost children. Their faces were grim, eyes red from crying or lack of sleep. General Paul Harris stood at the front of the room. Behind him was a screen showing the world map with red dots where the alien ships had taken children. The dots were everywhere. As of 0600 this morning, we estimate that 53,000 children between the ages of 3 and 12 have been taken worldwide, he said. The alien craft have returned to the main ships. The ships remain in orbit, ignoring all attempts at communication. A woman stood up. Susan recognized her as Dr. Amy Young, a top NASA scientist. "What do they want with our kids?" she asked, voice breaking. Her badge had a photo of a little girl pinned to it. "We don't know," General Harris said, "but at 0400 we finally received a transmission from the main ship." He played the message on the screen. A strange creature appeared. It had 6 eyes and gray-blue skin. When it spoke, a computer translated. "People of Earth, I am Commander Kraxtor of the Zoraxian Empire. Your planet is now under our protection and authority. The younglings we have collected will be well educated in our ways. This is standard procedure for all new species joining our empire. They will serve as cultural bridges in the future. Do not attempt resistance. It would be futile and unnecessary. We bring order and advancement to all worlds under our care." The room exploded with angry shouts. General Harris raised his hand for quiet. "We've been in emergency meetings with world leaders. For the first time in human history, every nation agrees on something. We want our children back, and we're willing to do whatever it takes." Susan stood up. "Sir, what's the plan?" "First, we negotiate. We demand the return of our children. If they refuse—" He paused, looking around the room. "Then we show them why taking humanity's children was the worst mistake they could have made." Later that day, Susan and 5 other officers who had lost children were selected for a special mission. They met in a smaller room with Jack Harrison, a former Marine whose daughter was among the taken. "I've been asked to lead a team," Jack said. "A team of people who have nothing left to lose. Our job is to find a way onto one of those ships and get information. We need to know where they're taking our kids and how to get them back." Susan looked at the faces around her. They were angry, determined, broken-hearted, just like her. "They think they know what humans are capable of," she said quietly. "They have no idea what parents will do for their children." Jack nodded. "The aliens are calling us potentially dangerous. Let's show them how right they are." As they prepared for their mission, news came in that the Zoraxian ships were moving, taking Earth's children to some unknown part of space. "Let them run," Susan said, checking her weapon. "There's nowhere in this galaxy they can hide our children that we won't find them." Jack looked at her, his eyes hard with determination. "We warned them. Now they'll learn what it means to awaken the demons." 2 months passed since the aliens took the children. The world changed in ways no one thought possible. Countries that had been enemies for years now worked together. Scientists shared their secrets. Soldiers trained side by side. Everyone had one goal: get the children back. Susan Miller and Jack Harrison prepared for their mission. They were part of a small team chosen to try something that seemed impossible. They needed to capture an alien ship. "Are you ready?" Jack asked as they sat in the secret underground base. Around them, 20 other parents who had lost children checked their gear. "I've been ready since they took Alan," Susan said. She looked at the picture of her son she kept in her pocket. "How about you?" Jack nodded. His face was thin from not eating or sleeping well. "Lily would be turning 9 next week. I promised to take her to the beach." His hands shook slightly as he checked his weapon again. Dr. Amy Young entered the room. She looked different from the woman Susan had seen at the briefing 2 months ago. Now she wore a military uniform instead of a lab coat. The photo of her daughter was still pinned to her chest. "We have a plan," Dr. Young said. She pointed to a large screen showing a small alien ship. "Our satellites have spotted this scout ship. It comes down to Earth's atmosphere every 3 days to take readings. We think we can catch it." She explained the plan. They would use a new weapon designed from studying pieces of alien technology found after the abduction. It could disable the ship's engines for a short time. Then the team would board the ship, capture it, and learn how to fly it. With an alien ship, they could reach the main fleet that had taken the children. "This is a one-way mission," General Harris said, entering the room. "We don't know if you'll be able to return. Are you still willing to go?" Everyone in the room stood up. No one hesitated. That night, the team flew to the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Their plane was designed to look like normal air traffic. They waited on a small island, watching the sky with special equipment. There, Susan pointed as a small dot appeared on their radar. Right on schedule, the alien scout ship looked like a smaller version of the teardrop ships that had taken the children. It moved slowly, taking readings of Earth's atmosphere. "Get ready," Jack said, moving to the weapon Dr. Young had created. It looked like a large satellite dish. Susan helped him aim it at the alien ship. Firing in 3, 2, 1. A pulse of blue energy shot from the dish. It hit the alien ship, which wobbled in the air. Its lights flickered and it started to descend. "It's working," Susan shouted. The team rushed to their aircraft, a modified plane designed to reach the disabled alien ship. As they flew toward it, Susan saw the alien ship trying to regain control. Its engines were sputtering. "We have 5 minutes before their systems reset," Dr. Young said through the radio. "Make it count." Jack piloted their craft alongside the alien ship. Susan and 3 others prepared to jump across. They wore special suits designed to protect them in case the aliens used unusual weapons. "Go, go, go!" Jack yelled. Susan jumped first, landing on the smooth metal surface of the alien ship. She used a new cutting tool to open a hatch they had spotted. The metal gave way and she dropped inside. The interior of the ship was strange. The lights were a purple color that hurt her eyes. The air smelled like metal and something sweet. There were no sharp edges anywhere. Everything was curved and smooth. Susan heard the others land behind her. They moved quietly through the ship, weapons ready. "Life signs ahead," one of the team members whispered, looking at a small device. They turned a corner and saw them. 2 aliens. They looked just like the commander from the message. 6 eyes, blue-gray skin, long arms with 3 fingers on each hand. The aliens made clicking sounds when they saw the humans. "Don't move," Susan said, aiming her weapon. One of the aliens reached for something on the wall. Jack shot near its hand, and the alien froze. "We need one of them alive to fly this thing," Jack reminded everyone. The aliens began making more clicking sounds, faster and louder. A voice came from a device on the wall. "Humans on board. Humans on board." "They're calling for help," Susan realized. Jack moved quickly, using a stun weapon on both aliens. They fell to the floor, still alive but unable to move. "Find the control room," he ordered. The team split up, exploring the small ship. Susan found what looked like a cockpit. There were no traditional controls, just glowing panels and strange symbols. "Dr. Young, we're in," she said into her radio. "But we can't read anything, it's all in their language." "Bring one of the aliens to the control room," Dr. Young instructed. "Force them to fly you to their main ship." Susan and Jack dragged one of the stunned aliens to the cockpit. As the stun effect began to wear off, the alien's 6 eyes blinked rapidly. "You will fly this ship to where you took our children," Jack said slowly, showing the alien a picture of his daughter. The alien made more clicking sounds. Then, to everyone's surprise, it spoke in broken English. "No return possible, young one's gone." "What do you mean, gone?" Susan demanded, grabbing the alien's arm. "Where did you take them?" "Empire processing. Far system." Jack pointed his weapon at the alien's head. "You will take us there." The alien's eyes blinked in a pattern that might have been fear. "Long journey. Many ships guard." "We don't care," Susan said. "Either you take us to our children, or you don't survive the next minute." The alien seemed to understand the threat. It slowly moved its 3-fingered hands over the glowing panels. The ship hummed to life. "Taking humans to death," the alien said. "Empire never defeated." "Your empire has never faced parents looking for their children," Jack said. The ship rose, higher into Earth's atmosphere. Below them, Susan could see the island getting smaller. Their Earth team was sending messages through the radio, but Jack turned it off. "No going back now," he said. The alien pressed more panels. The stars outside the window began to stretch into lines of light. "Faster than light travel beginning," the alien said. "Journey to Central System. 3 Earth weeks." Susan looked at the determined faces of her team. None of them knew if they would ever see Earth again. But they all knew what waited at the end of their journey: the children. "Send a message to Earth," Susan told Jack. "Tell them we're on our way to the Empire, and tell them to prepare for war." As the ship accelerated to impossible speeds, Susan thought of Alan. Was he scared? Did he think she had abandoned him? Did he know his mother was coming for him? "The Empire doesn't know what they've done," she whispered, watching Earth disappear behind them. "They've awakened something they can't control." The stars stretched into bright lines as the ship jumped to faster-than-light travel. The journey to find their children had begun, and with it, humanity's first steps toward bringing a galactic empire to its knees. 3 weeks in space changed the small team of humans. They learned to eat the strange food the alien ship provided. They learned to use the ship's systems. Most importantly, they learned about their enemy. The captured alien, who called himself Krill, slowly began to talk more. He was afraid at first, but Susan treated him with care. She knew they needed information more than revenge. "Tell me about your empire," Susan asked one day as they sat in what seemed to be the ship's eating area. Krill's 6 eyes blinked in a pattern they now knew meant he was thinking. "Empire very old. 3,000 years, many planets, many species. And you take children from all of them?" Jack asked. His voice was hard. He still showed Krill a picture of his daughter every day. "Only dangerous species," Krill said. "Only ones with fight spirit." "Why children?" Susan asked. "Young ones learn quickly, accept Empire ways, become loyal." Krill made a gesture with his 3-fingered hand. "Adults, too, set in ways, cannot change." "Where are our children now?" Susan asked the question she had asked every day for 3 weeks. This time, Krill answered differently. "Processing center first, then education planets." "Education planets?" Jack leaned forward. "How many?" "5 planets. Different ages, different skills." Susan and Jack exchanged looks. This was the first real information about where the children might be. "Can you take us to these planets?" Susan asked. Krill's eyes did the blinking pattern again. "Small ship, big defenses. We die." Jack stood up. "We need a new plan." The next day, as they got closer to the Empire's central system, Krill showed them something on the ship's viewing screen. It was a massive space station floating near a red giant star. "Empire Hub," Krill said. "All information there, all ship controls, all education planet locations." "Can we get in?" Susan asked. Krill made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Impossible." Jack smiled for the first time in weeks. Nothing is impossible when parents are looking for their children. Over the next few days, they made a plan. It was dangerous, maybe crazy, but it was the only chance they had to find out where all the children were. "I will help," Krill said, surprising everyone. "Empire took my young ones too, long ago. Different species not allowed to raise own children. Empire way only." This new information changed how they saw Krill. He wasn't just their prisoner anymore. He was a parent who had lost his children too. "We arrive tomorrow," Krill said. "Must be ready." That night, Susan couldn't sleep. She looked at the picture of Alan. "I'm coming, baby," she whispered. "Just hold on." The next day, their ship approached the massive hub station. It was bigger than any structure humans had ever built. Thousands of ships moved around it like busy insects. "Now we see if your plan works," Susan said to Jack. Krill sent a message to the station in his language. He told them he was explaining that he had captured some humans who were trying to find their children. "Docking allowed," Krill said after receiving a response. "They curious about humans. Want to study?" Their small ship moved toward a docking bay on the massive station. Susan, Jack, and the rest of the team put on restraints that looked real, but could be easily removed. They wanted the Empire officials to think they were Krill's prisoners. "Remember," Jack told the team, "we only have one chance. Find the central data room, get the information about all 5 education planets, and get back to the ship. The ship docked with a soft thud. The door opened, and for the first time the humans saw the inside of an Empire station. It was enormous. The ceiling was so high they couldn't see it. Thousands of different aliens moved around. Some looked almost human. Others were completely strange. Floating gas clouds, rolling metal balls, creatures with too many limbs. A group of aliens like Krill approached. They wore what looked like uniforms. They clicked and whistled to Krill, who responded in the same language. They say bring humans to study room, Krill translated quietly. I say need to process first, data room that way. He pointed with his eyes to a corridor on the right. The guard aliens seemed to agree. They led the group down several corridors. Susan memorized every turn. Left, right, left, straight for a long time, then right again. Finally, they reached a large room filled with glowing panels similar to their ship's control room. Data center, Krill whispered. One of the guard aliens pointed at the humans and made more clicking sounds. They ask why humans not fighting, Krill translated. Say our records show humans very aggressive. Tell them we're broken, Jack said. Tell them taking our children destroyed our will to fight. When Krill translated this, the aliens made sounds that might have been laughter. They seemed pleased and proud. That was their mistake. Jack nodded slightly. Susan and the rest of the team dropped their fake restraints and pulled out weapons they had hidden in their clothes. Before the guard aliens could react, they were stunned and on the floor. Quick, Susan said, lock the door. One team member used Krill's instructions to seal the entrance. Another ran to the data panels. How do we find the information? She asked Krill. Krill moved his hands over the panels. Images appeared on the large screens around the room. Maps of star systems, lists of planets, numbers and strange symbols. Here, Krill said after a few minutes. Education planets. 5. He pointed to dots on a map. Children sorted by age and potential. Can you find out which planet has my son? Susan asked. Alan Miller, age 8. Krill worked the panels again. A long list of human names appeared. He scrolled through them until he found it. Alan Miller. Planet Zorax 3. Susan felt her heart jump. For the first time since the abduction, she knew where her son was. Lily. Harrison? Jack asked, his voice shaking. Krill found her name too. Same planet, Zorax 3. They quickly searched for all their children. Most were on Zorax 3 or Zorax 4. Download everything, Jack ordered. Star maps, defense systems, ship locations, everything. As they worked, an alarm suddenly blared. Red lights flashed around the room. They found stunned guards, Krill said. Need to leave now. They grabbed the data devices and ran for the door. When it opened, they saw dozens of guard aliens running toward them from both directions. Back to the ship, Jack yelled. Go. They ran through the corridors, following Susan, who remembered the way. Guard aliens fired weapons that shot bursts of blue energy. 2 human team members fell, hit by the blasts. Keep going, Susan shouted, though it broke her heart to leave anyone behind. They reached their ship just as guard aliens surrounded them. Krill rushed to the control panels and started the engines. Hold on, he shouted as the ship tore away from the docking clamp. They burst out of the station, alarms blaring behind them. Larger ships were already moving to chase them. We'll never outrun them, someone said. Krill's hands flew over the controls. Not trying to outrun, trying to send message. Message? To who? Jack asked. To Earth, Krill said. Sending all data. Education planet locations, Empire ship positions, defense codes. The ship shook as enemy weapons hit their shields. Why are you helping us? Susan asked Krill as they prepared for the worst. All 6 of Krill's eyes looked at her. Empire take all children, control all species, not right. Maybe humans different, maybe humans can change things. The ship rocked with another hit. The shields were failing. Message sent, Krill said. Earth has all information now. Susan looked at Jack. They both smiled. Even if they didn't make it, Earth now knew where to find the children. Earth would come, and the Empire had no idea what was about to hit them. "The demons are coming," Susan whispered, as Empire ships surrounded them. "And they're going to take back what's theirs." Back on Earth, 3 months had passed since Susan, Jack, and their team left on their dangerous mission. Many people thought they were dead, but one person never lost hope. Dr. Amy Young worked day and night in her lab. She had not slept much since her daughter Emma was taken. When she wasn't working, she stared at Emma's photo, pinned as always to her uniform. One night, as she was about to finally get some sleep, all the computers in her lab started beeping at once. She ran to the main screen and saw something that made her heart race. "General Harris," she shouted into her phone. "We received a transmission from deep space. It's from Susan's team." Within an hour, the underground base was full of activity. The best scientists and military leaders gathered around Dr. Young as she showed them what she had received. "It's everything," she said, her eyes wide with excitement. "Star maps of the entire Empire, locations of all their main ships and bases, and most importantly, the exact locations of the education planets where they're keeping our children." General Harris studied the maps on the screen. "Can we trust this information? It could be a trap." Dr. Young pointed to a video file that came with the data. "This explains everything." She played the video. Susan Miller's face appeared on the screen. She looked tired but determined. "Earth, this is Susan Miller. We've reached the central hub of the Zoraxian Empire. With help from Krill, an alien who also lost his children to the Empire, we found the information we need. There are 5 education planets where they're keeping our children. Most of them are on Zorax 3 and 4. We're sending everything. We've learned about the Empire's ships, weapons, and defenses." Jack Harrison appeared next to her. "We may not make it back, but this information will. Use it. Find our children. Show the Empire what happens when they take from humans." The video ended with sounds of alarms and the ship shaking. The room was silent for a moment. Then General Harris spoke. "They sacrificed themselves to give us this chance. We're not going to waste it." Over the next few days, the best minds on Earth studied the information. They learned that the Empire ships used a special kind of energy for their weapons and defenses. Dr. Young discovered that this energy had a weakness they could exploit. "We can create a device that disrupts their energy fields," she explained to the world leaders who had gathered for an emergency meeting. "It will disable their weapons and defenses for a short time." "How short?" asked the president. "About 10 minutes, Dr. Young said. "But that's all we need if we strike fast enough." For the next month, every factory on Earth worked to build ships and weapons based on the Empire technology they had learned about. Countries shared resources and knowledge. There were no more secrets between nations. Everyone worked together. "We build the biggest fleet in human history," General Harris said at another meeting. 2,000 ships, but the Empire has millions. "We don't need to defeat their whole empire," Dr. Young said. "We just need to reach the education planets and get our children back." The plan was simple, but dangerous. They would send their fleet directly to Zorax 3 and 4, where most of the human children were. They would use Dr. Young's device to disable the Empire defenses, then land troops to find and rescue the children. On the day the fleet was ready to leave, Dr. Young stood in front of the main ship. She had never been a soldier, but now she wore a military uniform. The photo of Emma was still pinned to her chest. "I'm going with you," she told General Harris. "I designed the device. I should be there to make sure it works." The general didn't argue. Every ship in the fleet was crewed by parents and relatives of the taken children. They all had personal reasons to fight. The Earth fleet left the solar system using the faster-than-light technology they had learned from the Empire data. They traveled for 2 weeks before reaching Zoraxian space. "Enemy ships detected," reported a crew member on the main ship's bridge. "They've spotted us." On the large screen, they could see dozens of Empire ships moving toward them. They were much bigger than Earth ships. "Prepare the disruption device," General Harris ordered. Dr. Young worked at her control panel. "Ready on your command." The Empire ships fired first. Beams of blue energy shot toward the Earth fleet. Some ships were hit and damaged, but most avoided the attack. "Fire the device now," General Harris commanded. Dr. Young activated her invention. A wave of invisible energy spread out from the Earth fleet. The effect was immediate. The Empire ships' lights flickered. Their weapons stopped firing. They drifted in space, temporarily helpless. All ships full speed to Zorax 3 and 4, General Harris ordered. We have 10 minutes. The Earth fleet split into two groups. One headed for Zorax 3, the other for Zorax 4. They flew past the disabled Empire ships and deeper into Empire space. As they approached the two planets, they could see that they were beautiful worlds with blue oceans and green land, much like Earth. But they weren't here to admire the view. More Empire ships ahead, someone reported, surrounding both planets. Dr. Young checked her device. We can disable them too, but this is the last charge. After this, we'll have to fight our way out. Do it, General Harris said. The second wave of disruption energy shot out. The Empire ships around both planets went dark and drifted away from their positions. Landing teams, go now, General Harris ordered. Hundreds of smaller ships left the Earth fleet and headed down to the surfaces of both planets. Dr. Young was on one of the ships heading to Zorax 3, where her daughter Emma was supposed to be. As they entered the atmosphere, they could see large buildings below. They looked like schools or universities, spread out across beautiful landscapes. Those must be the education centers, Dr. Young said. Their ship landed near one of the biggest buildings. Dr. Young and a team of soldiers rushed out, weapons ready. They expected to face Empire guards, but instead they found something surprising. The building was filled with children from many different species, including humans. They were in classrooms, learning Empire languages and history. They looked clean and well-fed, but their eyes were sad and empty. Dr. Young ran through the hallways looking at every human child's face, searching for Emma. Finally, in a room filled with small children drawing pictures, she found her. Emma! She cried. The little girl looked up. For a moment, she didn't seem to recognize her mother. Then her eyes widened. Mommy? She said in a small voice. They said you didn't want me anymore. Dr. Young ran to her daughter and hugged her tight. That's a lie. We never stopped looking for you. We came across the whole galaxy to find you. All around them, similar scenes were playing out as other parents found their children, but they knew they didn't have much time. We need to go now, a soldier told Dr. Young. The Empire ships will be online again soon. Dr. Young picked up Emma. We're taking all the children, not just ours, all of them. The soldier looked surprised but nodded. I'll tell the general. As they rushed back to their ships with the children, Dr. Young looked back at the education center. She thought about all the other species who had lost their children to the Empire over thousands of years. Maybe humans could help them too. Her radio crackled with General Harris's voice. Dr. Young, we've recovered about 80% of our children from both planets, but Empire reinforcements are coming. We need to leave now. Dr. Young looked at Emma's face. They had found many of their children, but not all, and Susan and Jack's team were still missing. We'll come back for the rest, she promised. This isn't over. As their ships took off, rising back into space, they could see Empire ships beginning to move again. The fight to escape was just beginning, but they had their children, they had hope, and the Empire was about to learn a lesson it would never forget. The Earth fleet fought their way out of Empire space with the children they had rescued. It was not an easy journey home. Empire ships chased them across many star systems. Some Earth ships were lost, but most made it back with their precious cargo. The return of the children brought joy to many families, but not all children had been found, and no one had heard anything about Susan, Jack, and their team since they sent the message with the Empire data. Dr. Amy Young spent time with her daughter Emma, helping her adjust to being home again. The children had been taught strange things. On the education planets, they spoke the Empire language. Some had almost forgotten Earth. They wanted us to be good Empire citizens, Emma told her mother one night. They said Earth was primitive and that we were lucky to be chosen. Did you believe them? Dr. Young asked gently. Emma shook her head. No. I remembered you. And I remembered that you would come for me. Not all children had kept their memories so clear. Some had started to believe what the Empire taught them. It would take time for them to remember who they really were. 6 months after the rescue mission, Dr. Young was called to a meeting at the underground base. General Harris looked more serious than usual. "We've received another transmission from deep space," he said. "You need to see this." The video showed a face Dr. Young recognized immediately. It was Susan Miller. She looked thinner with scars on her face, but her eyes were still full of determination. "Earth, this is Susan Miller. We are alive. After you received our data transmission, we were captured by the Empire. They were going to execute us, but something unexpected happened." The camera moved to show Jack Harrison and Krill standing beside her. Behind them were hundreds of aliens of many different species. "We're not alone in our fight against the Empire," Susan continued. "For thousands of years, the Empire has been taking children from species all across the galaxy. We've found others who want their children back too. We're building a rebellion." Jack spoke next. "The rescue mission you sent to the education planets showed everyone that the Empire isn't invincible. Now other species are rising up too. But we need your help for one final mission." Krill stepped forward. "Empire Central Planet holds many young ones from many species. Most heavily guarded place in galaxy. Need Earth's disruption device to break through." The video ended with Susan's face filling the screen again. "We found Alan. He's here with us. But there are still thousands of children on the education planets and the Central Planet. We have one chance to end this, to free all the children, and to stop the Empire from ever taking children again. Will you help us?" The room was silent after the video ended. Then General Harris spoke. "We always finish what we start. Let's bring all our children home." This time, Earth prepared differently. They built better ships using everything they had learned. They made stronger disruption devices, and they sent messages to the stars telling other species about their plan. It was time for the Empire to fall. 3 months later, the new Earth fleet left the solar system. It was smaller than the first fleet but stronger. Dr. Young was on the main ship again, but this time she wasn't looking for her own child. She was fighting for all children. When they reached the meeting point Susan had given them, they found something amazing. Hundreds of ships from other species were waiting. Some were small and old. Others were nearly as large as Empire ships. Together they formed the largest fleet the galaxy had ever seen. "All these species want their children back too," Dr. Young said, looking at the incredible sight. General Harris nodded. "The Empire has been doing this for thousands of years. They've made a lot of enemies." Susan, Jack, and Krill came aboard the Earth ship for a final meeting before the attack. Susan hugged Dr. Young tightly. "Thank you for coming," she said. "We couldn't do this without Earth's disruption device." "How did you escape?" Dr. Young asked. Jack smiled. "Krill had friends in the Empire who felt the same way he did. They helped us get away. Then we started finding others who had lost children." Krill clicked in his language and the translator spoke. "Empire take children from hundreds of species. All parents feel same pain. All want children back." The combined fleet moved toward the Empire's central planet. It was protected by more ships than they had ever seen. The planet itself was covered in cities that stretched across entire continents. Somewhere down there were thousands of children from Earth and other worlds. "Are we ready?" General Harris asked. Susan nodded. "The other species' ships will protect ours while we get close enough to use the disruption device. Then we all attack together." The battle began. Empire ships fired on the rebel fleet. Many ships were hit, but the fleet kept moving forward, protecting the Earth ships at its center. "We're in range," Dr. Young said, monitoring the disruption device. "Ready to fire?" "Do it," General Harris ordered. The device fired, sending out the biggest wave of disruption energy they had ever created. The effect was immediate. Empire ships all around them went dark. Their weapons stopped. Their shields failed. "All ships, attack now," Susan ordered through the communication system. The combined fleet surged forward, heading for the planet's surface. Empire ground defenses tried to stop them, but they were too many to stop. They landed near the largest building on the planet, a massive structure that seemed to be the Empire's central government building. Susan led one team inside. Jack led another. Dr. Young went with a third. Inside, they found not just human children, but children from hundreds of species. Some looked almost like humans. Others were completely alien, but all of them were far from their homes and parents. At the center of the building, they found something they didn't expect. The Empire's leaders weren't the Zoraxian species like Krill. They were another species entirely, one that looked almost like moving shadows. They used our species as the face of the Empire, Krill explained. They hide in the shadows, controlling everything. The shadow creatures tried to fight back, but against the combined force of so many angry parents from so many species, they had no chance. Their reign was over. In the days that followed, the children were reunited with their people. Ships from all across the galaxy came to take their young ones home. It was the largest movement of people the galaxy had ever seen. Susan found Alan. In a special section for children the Empire had considered highly intelligent. When she hugged him, he cried with happiness. He had never forgotten her. Jack found Lily too. She had been taught to be a future leader in the Empire, but she had resisted their teachings. "I knew you would come, Dad," she said when she saw him. As the Earthships prepared to return home, Susan looked out at the stars. "What happens now?" she asked Krill. The alien made a gesture that might have been a shrug. "Galaxy without empire. For first time in thousands of years. Many species free, many young ones home. Good beginning." "Will you come to Earth with us?" Dr. Young asked him. "You helped save our children. You're a hero to us." Krill's eyes blinked in the pattern they now knew meant he was touched. "Perhaps visit, but must help own people rebuild. Many years of healing ahead." As the Earth fleet set course for home with all their children safely aboard, Susan thought about how one terrible act by the Empire had led to its own destruction. They had thought humans were just another species to conquer. They never understood what they were really dealing with. "They called us demons," she said to Jack as they watched Earth grow larger on the viewing screen. "Maybe we were. But sometimes the universe needs demons to fight against evil." Jack nodded, holding Lily's hand. "We warned them. Now every species in the galaxy knows, don't take what matters most to humans. We'll cross the stars to get it back." The ships landed on Earth to cheering crowds. Families were reunited, children were home, and the stars above didn't seem so far away anymore.